going on, everybody? This is Nick, and Sports Guy on the Mic. This is episode 6, and today we're going to be breaking down some more college football. So last time I talked to you guys, we kind of broke down some of the biggest storylines heading to the college football season. And today I'm just going to be pretty much talking to you guys about my predictions and over-unders on some records. We'll get into some Heisman talk. And we'll just talk football, guys. So it should be fun, and this will be kind of like a carry on from last episode I gave you guys. So if you didn't get to check that out, go check that out. So segment 1. So again, guys, these are not these are just my opinions. We'll see. We'll circle back around on this at the end of the season to see if how close I was to being right. But as we all know, we all got some opinions going into the season. Everybody think they, have it figured out and know who's going to win and who's going to come out on top. So we're going to start with segment 1, and we're going to get into a little bit of who we think are national championship contenders. So I got three teams, guys, that could win it all. I'm going to go with the first team I want to talk about is Texas. I think Texas has the most elite roster from top to bottom. Just with a quick breakdown of looking at their team, I think that they have it all as far as the coaching staff and all the players. As I talked about before, with Arch Manning coming back and Cam Coleman, the addition of Cam Coleman. I think that they, have everything they need to really win it. I mean, they've been there almost every single year. I feel like we keep talking about Texas over and over again. But eventually, if you keep putting yourself in that position to make noise, you can do it. But they got to put it together. Obviously, they got a crazy schedule. That's the only thing that is kind of keeping me from just fully jumping on board with Texas. Is that schedule that they have is just it's brutal, man. They got a bunch of games coming up early. They got Ohio State obviously first week, but that schedule is what's going to hold them from just entering the playoffs. If they can just get to the playoffs, I think that they'll have a good shot. But Ohio State is my second one. They got the best QB wide receiver combination to me with Julian Sand and Jeremiah Smith. Got Bo Jackson at running back. They reload every single season. And they have no problems getting talent in there. But they're built to win it, and if they can have that explosive offense this year, that I think that they will, and put themselves in the playoffs, then I think that they have a good shot, man. I think that they are, again, built for it, and I think that they can have a chance to win it all. So I also like Ohio State, and then my last team is Georgia. Look, y'all, they got the best coach in the country. Kirby Smart is the best coach in the country to me. They always have elite talent. They recruit really well. At the end of the day, if they can just get through that gauntlet, like the SEC, as tough as a conference it is, if they can get there and win some big games and put themselves in the playoffs, then I think that they'll be a team that can win it all. But Georgia is until somebody beats them, man, in the SEC, that is, they kind of have that locked up right now. But I think that Georgia is a team that, as long as Kirby Smart's there, they're going to be talked about to win it all. So I like those three, man. I think Texas, Ohio State, and Georgia are my top dog national championship contenders. And of course, this might change once we get into the season and get towards the end of the season. That might all change, but right now, that's what I'm going with. All right, guys. So let's talk about some teams that I'm not buying into at all. These are some teams that I think that are overhyped a little bit, and I think that they're probably going to be missing out on the playoffs, probably. So, but we'll see. But first team I got is Indiana. Um, Look, y'all, they had a great story last year, and I know, as I've been doing this podcast now, I've been talking a lot about Indiana and how I don't believe in them and all this stuff. But again, they had a great story last year. I'm just not convinced that they can repeat that success this year. So right now, I'm not buying into any of that. They could prove me wrong once again, but Indiana's one that I'm kind of skipping out on. Team from the SEC that I'm also not buying into is Ole Miss. The departure of Lane Kiffin is kind of sitting with me. I just don't know if Ole Miss is really built for that without him. I have to see it if they can start the year off strong and win some games, and Trinidad can play up to the level he was playing at throughout the season with Lane. And some of you guys are probably going to say, "Hey, well, they won playoff games without Lane and this and that," but I still believe, putting together a whole season means something. So I got to see a little bit more from there for me to believe all the way with Ole Miss. So I'm not buying into Ole Miss right now. Next team is Texas Tech. Obviously they got a good football team, but I think expectations might be getting a little bit too high for them. Uh, that's just my opinion. I know that they got a couple of defensive players that are really, really good. I know the quarterback situation down there with the gambling situation kind of set them back a little bit, I think. But that'll be another team that I have to watch and see if they can prove me wrong. But right now, I'm not buying. I'm not buying into Texas Tech. So we'll see what they can do. Um, but all right. So who has the toughest road to the college football playoff? And to me, that's one team, man. I think that has there's a bunch of teams out there that have tough roads, obviously. But to me, one that is who I think is a contender, which I spoke on earlier, but they have the toughest road is Texas. Um, Look, man, their schedule is just they got a really tough road, man. They got Ohio State first game, as we talked about. They got LSU on the schedule. They have Ole Miss on the schedule. They have Oklahoma, of course, on that schedule. Um, I think Tennessee is on that schedule, and obviously they got to play Texas A&M at the end of the year, and Arkansas right before Texas A&M, which Arkansas I think will be down, but that'll be a tough game to play them and then go to A&M. But uh, Texas has a very difficult schedule. They got to manage it well. I think they'll take some losses this season, but if they can just hold out and get into the playoffs, I think that they'll have a chance to make a run. But right now, I think that they have the hardest schedule and the toughest road to the playoffs. All right, guys. So segment two, man. We're gonna talk a little bit about college football playoff, man. This is my college football playoff prediction. And I kind of went through and just get picked, 1 through 12, obviously, but trying to envision what the end of the year looked like and what the rankings would be 1 through 12 and what those matchups will look like. And then I actually kind of went through it and just kind of filled the bracket out to see what it would look like. But this is what I came up with, man. Okay. So number one, I got Ohio State. I got them as the first seed. I got Notre Dame at the number 2 seed. Oregon, number 3. Georgia, number 4. Then we got outside, we have Miami at number 5. LSU at number 6. I got Alabama at number 7. I got Texas at 8. I got USC at 9. I got Oklahoma at 10. BYU at 11. and Boise State at 12. So, you know, again, this could change, man. This could be something totally different. Hell, I might even change my mind after week one, to be honest with you. But just kind of like envision the teams that's out there, and what their schedule looks like, and uh, will they win a conference championship? Kind of factored into like where I kind of put these teams at. Um, I think I might have a little bit more SEC teams in here than most. I think. Let's see, I got one, two, three, four, five SEC schools in here. So SEC got a tough schedule, man. So hopefully they can get some teams in here, and hopefully they don't penalize them for playing. They're going to a 9-game conference schedule this year, so hopefully they don't get penalized and get teams left out of it, because I think that would be wrong if they did that. But so with my bracket, the way I got that set up, the first round will look like this. We got Miami, number 5 Miami versus Boise State, and I got Miami winning that. I just kind of feel this out just for the fun of it, and see what it will look like. So I got Miami coming out of the first round, beating Boise State. I got matchup LSU versus BYU. I got LSU winning that game against BYU. Um, that put me with Alabama, number 7 seed versus Oklahoma 10 seed. So a rematch from the game last year in the playoffs, and I got Alabama winning that game. Um, and then with that puts us with number 8 Texas playing number 9 USC, and I got Texas winning that game. And a lot of you guys probably asking why I got Texas so low when they're one of my big, one of my top 3 teams to make it to the national championship. Is simply because of that schedule, man. And I don't think they're going to go undefeated. So they're going to take some losses. And again, if they can just get into the playoffs, I think Texas has a good shot. So, anyways, so Texas versus USC, I got Texas winning that game. So that puts us with a quarterfinals matchup of Ohio State versus Texas, which I got Texas beating Ohio State. Now, Ohio State could beat Texas earlier in the year, which that won't matter if Texas can get there. I really believe you get a clean slate once you get into playoffs. Whatever your record was, is kind of is what it is. But I think if Texas can get there, they'll be a better team down the road. And if they're healthy and everything, then I think they get Ohio State in the playoffs. So Texas wins that game. Next matchup, we got Notre Dame, number 2, versus Alabama. I took Alabama to win that game. If Alabama's playing the way they should be, and get some young guys built up, and they should be ready to go for that game. I think they'll be more battle tested in Notre Dame by that time, and maybe they can get that win. I got Oregon beating LSU in that next round. I really wanted to pick LSU right there, but I think Dan Lanning has got pressure on them, and they get that game won and get out of there. So I got Oregon winning that one. Next we got Miami versus Georgia. I got Georgia winning that game. I think that will be a really fun game to see. But I gotta go with Kirby, man, and a team that I know really well, and I know they'll be ready to go, and they got a lot of talent, but I also know Miami got a lot of talent as well. So again, this could change once I see teams in week one, but this is just fun just to kind of talk about it. But for now, I'm going to go with Georgia over Miami. So that sets up the semifinals game. So that means we got Texas versus Alabama, and then we have Oregon versus Georgia, according to my bracket. So, look, guys. So Texas versus Alabama. Yeah, I mean, as you guys know, I'm a big Alabama fan, but I'm going to take Texas right there. I think Texas, a little bit, returning quarterback, a lot of talent. I think that they'll just go ahead and get the job done and win that game. So I'll take Texas. And then we got Oregon versus Georgia. Again, it's hard for me to pick against Georgia. So I think that it's been a while since they've been to the national championship game, and I think they're ready to get back. So I think Georgia wins that game against Oregon, and we'll take them. So that sets us up for a national championship game of Texas versus Georgia, which I think would be a really good game if you don't already see that game in the SEC championship. I know people probably get tired of seeing SEC championship games be repeated in the national championship game, but it possibly could happen, man. So, but with those two teams, man, I'm gonna say that Steve Sarkisian and Texas gets the job done this year and win it, and hold up that national championship trophy. So I think that they got the team and the roster, the returning starters. I think everything is looking right for Texas to win it all. So that's kind of who I went with. And again, this might all change once I see some teams that I really want to see and get a little bit of a better feel for some of these teams. But I just thought that was fun, just kind of feel that out and see what my early thoughts were on that. So that's kind of what I came up with. Um, so some teams that just missed out. I got Indiana just missing out, and I got Ole Miss just missing out. Some two teams that I think that might be looking for a spot, but just not able to get in. So, and then my first team out I got is Texas A&M. I think that they'll be fighting for a playoff position as well. So, I think that they'll be a team that is maybe a win or so away from jumping in there. All right, guys. So segment three, guys, we're gonna go with Heisman predictions. I'm gonna give you guys my favorite, my dark horse, and players that I'm a player that I'm fading. I'm not gonna take them. So, so I looked at I use FanDuel Sportsbook for my odds or whatnot when I'm doing my sports bets, and so that's as I was looking at it. The players on there, this is the odds that they were at when I looked at them at the time. So, um, but for my favorite, I'm going to go with Arch Manning. I think that one, the name alone is going to get him the recognition he needs to kind of stay towards the top of the Heisman. And he's at plus 800 on FanDuel at the time that I saw it. So I think I like him right there at the favorite. So if they win some big games and he plays at elite level, I think that he'll be the favorite to win that trophy. So my dark horse, this is obviously a player that's not at the top of this the odds market. So for the value down there, I think I do believe Keelan Russell will win the job at Alabama, and if he can play at a high level, I think that he will put himself in a position to get a lot of recognition just because of the brand, the name of the school. And then if he plays at a high level, I think Keelan Russell can be one of those dark horses that puts his name in there and can possibly win the Heisman Trophy. So I'll take Keelan, and he's on FanDuel at the time that I saw it, 2,200. So that's a good payout if he can win that. Um, and a player that I'm fading, man, someone I'm not really feeling, just because of situational, not because of talent. I think that he's a talented player, but would like to see a little bit more from him in the situation that he's in now. So, and he's up there towards, I want to say he was in the top 4 or 5 when I was looking at the odds. And that's Trinidad Chambliss. He's at 1,200, and I'm fading that. I just don't know if he's going to be able to play. I think he had a great year last year. Set it off, and caught a lot of people by surprise. But I would like to see it this year, man. See if he can play at that level again. And I'm more so not worried about his talent, but what's around him and what can he do with the players that are coming back. And I know they got a great running back, and Lacey. So we'll see what that looks like. But so that's my predictions on the Heisman, guys. So again, Arch Manning will be my favorite. Keelan Russell is my dark horse, and I'm fading Trinidad Chambliss. All right, so segment four. This is the biggest surprise teams. Um, so uh, thought about this for a while, but you know, for me, when I look at the team that's going to give the people the most surprise, is I'm going to go with Alabama, and I'm going to give you guys my reason on that. I feel like a lot of people are sleeping on them, man. I feel like a lot of people are writing Alabama off. I know with Nick Saban leaving, it's a whole different look. It's a whole different feel for Alabama, and really feel like the last, 2 to 3 seasons that people are kind of like you know, they're not, I don't want to say people don't think they're relevant, but I don't think people really are giving them enough respect. So, some of you guys are like, they're not a surprise team at all. They're, it's Alabama, but to me, I'm not hearing the same type of talk when it comes to Alabama, which is fair because they haven't really shown the Bama of old as of the last few seasons. So I get that. But at the same time, I think I'm telling you guys, if they can come out and run the football this year and, get Ryan Williams and some of these other guys, playing at an elite level once again, with that defense coming back with a lot of returning starters right there. I think, towards the middle of the year, end of the year, people will be talking about them once again as like, hey, you got to watch out for them. So Alabama will be a team that you most definitely got to watch out for. And I think they'll be the biggest surprise team. So conference sleeper, this is a team that I think will kind of maybe sneak up on some people and give a little bit of surprise there. So the sleeper that I'm going to go with is from the ACC, and I'm going to go with Virginia Tech. James Franklin is there, and he could, be one of the breakout, uh, Virginia, make Virginia Tech one of those breakout teams of the conference. So look out for, Virginia Tech if they can get everything together and click in. I'm not really sure about what kind of talent they got, but I do know that he's a good coach and he can get the best out of players. So they might sneak up on some people. So watch out for them. Um, and I'm going to go with a freshman breakout. There's a bunch of freshman players that came into the year that are some highly recruited freshmen that were out there. But I came down to a team that I follow a lot, which is Alabama, and they got a kid down there named Sindarian Morgan. And I'm hearing comparison of Julio Jones. So obviously you got to show that, and that's a big name to go behind Julio, which was really good at Alabama. So they say he got a really big body frame, can catch the ball really well, and is really physical and strong. So I think if he can play at a high level, he can be that breakout player that Alabama might need on the outside. And I'll be watching out for him. And, so he'll be my freshman breakout player just because I've been hearing so much about him. And, we'll see what he does. All right, guys. So segment five, the biggest disappointments that will come in the season. So my most overrated team, I'm going to go with Indiana. I think that Indiana is got a lot of pressure on them. I think that they with winning the national championship comes with a lot of expectations, and we'll see if they can, put up the same type of performance they did last year, and meet everybody's expectations of them defending the national championship. But I think they're a little bit overrated. I think that Mendoza played at a very high level last year, and they had a bunch of experienced guys there to help them get to a national championship. And we'll see what they do this year. But I think they're a little bit overrated for now, and then we'll see what they look like at the beginning of the year. Um, and let's go with coaches on the hot seat. Um, I think Mike Norvell is on the hot seat at Florida State. I think that he got to get some wins down there, and he better do it fast because I know that's a program that wants to win. I know they got the big win against Alabama last year, first game of the season, but haven't quite performed at the high level that Florida State that I know that they want to. So I think that he'll be a coach to watch this year, and if he doesn't, uh, get some wins, some big wins, and perform a little bit better, I think that he's out of there at Florida State. So, um, and then I'm gonna go with players who don't live up to the hype. And the guy that I'm going with right now is Arch Manning. I think he came in with all these expectations and all these he's going to be this and that, and I just quite haven't seen him be any of it. But I think he will play up to that level this year. But I'm sorry, I got to call out how I see it, man. And he has not lived up to the hype. He has not even came close to it to me. He's shown glimpses of it, but haven't seen anything consistent with him. But I do believe he'll put it together this year, and I think he'll show us, why he got that Manning name, and so we'll be watching him. But right now, I think he's one that has not lived up to the hype at all. So segment six, I'm gonna give you guys some betting features that I like. We're just gonna go run through them real quick. I got some conference champions that I'm looking at. I kind of just did the top conferences, and I just picked one from each conference. These are teams that I think that'll win it, and they got some good value on the odds when I looked on it at FanDuel. So the SEC, I took Georgia to win it all. They were at plus 200, 290. Until somebody knocks them off, man, I got to ride with Kirby Smart and the Bulldogs, and I think that they will, probably win a SEC championship this year. Big Ten, I got Ohio State, and they were at plus 180. I think that they'll take care of that conference this year. I think Oregon, and then maybe Indiana will be teams that they'll have to fight for it. But give me Ohio State out of the Big Ten. ACC, I think this one was easy for me. I got Miami. They're at negative 145. I think they have no issues getting out of that conference, and I'll take Miami right there to win the ACC. The Big 12, I'm taking BYU. They're at plus 550. So I know they got Texas Tech down there that might have something to say about that, but give me BYU right there. I like them on the odds for there. And then the Pac-12, I'm taking Boise State. They're on FanDuel at plus 172 at the time that I looked, so I'll take Boise State right there. So another one I was looking at was playoff features. So who can make the playoffs? I think Miami has the best odds right there just because they can win the conference the easiest. I think, you win the conference, you usually get into playoffs. So Miami was there at on FanDuel at the time, negative 330. So I think they got good value right there. So take them right there if you can. And then some other feature bets I was looking at is the team win totals. I kind of went through a few of them the ones that caught my eye. But I saw Alabama over under was at 8.5. I like them right there, so give me the over for 8.5 wins. So it's, on the season, they're at negative 122. So I like them right there. Indiana was on there on FanDuel at 10.5 wins. I don't think they get it. So I'm gonna take the under right there. Give me the under for Indiana on total wins. They're on FanDuel at negative 112. Texas was another one. Win total is at 9.5. I think Texas is really good. They're my national championship pick. But I don't know if they get 10 wins, man. So give me them under 9.5. They don't need 9.5. I mean that. Hopefully they can get in the playoffs with 9. But we'll see. But yeah. So give me the under for that. I think they got a really tough schedule. They take some losses. But hopefully they can still get in the playoffs. I think if they get in the playoffs, they'll have noise. But they're sitting at FanDuel at negative 144, so give me them for the under. And then one I was looking at is Clemson. They're at 7.5 on FanDuel. I think they get I think they get over the 7.5. ACC is kind of weak. I think if they can just perform at a little bit higher level than they have in the recent years, they can get over that 7.5 number. So they're sitting at FanDuel at the time at negative 144. So give me the over. All right, guys. So rapid fire. We're gonna give you rapid fire before we close it up, man, and go through some things, just some predictions on the year, just to kind of get our juices flowing a little bit for the up and coming season. And again, these things might change as I get to kind of see some of these teams and what they look like. But so yeah, we'll go through it, man. Rapid fire. So national championship, as I said before, I think I kind of spoke on them a little bit earlier, a few times in some segments, but give me national champion Texas. They win it all this year. Heisman winner. I'm going to go with Julian Sand. I think he wins it because Jeremiah Smith goes crazy, but quarterbacks usually win the Heisman. So give me Julian Sand to win the Heisman because of Jeremiah Smith. Biggest surprise of the year, I think, is going to be Alabama. I think that they're going to surprise some people if they can run the football with that young freshman quarterback they got, Keelan Russell, which I think will win the game, win the starting job. I think that they can surprise some people on the offensive side and, be in contention to make a playoff run if they can put things together. So biggest surprise, Alabama. Biggest disappointment, I'm going to go with Indiana. I think that they got a little bit too much. They're getting a little bit too much credit for what they did last year, even though, hats off to them. They had a great year, great team. But I think that they'll be a disappointment this year because they can't reach that expectations that they did last year. So biggest disappointment, I got Indiana. Game I'm most excited for, I'm going to go with Texas, Ohio State. And that's the first game of the year. During the first week of the year, that's going to kind of set it off for me as far as like what the big dogs look like. And I'll get a first glimpse at Texas and Ohio State, them playing each other. And you can kind of get a feel about two really good teams that I think will be national championship contenders. And you can kind of get a feel for them early on in the year and see, how teams need to look before they get to that point. So I think we'll get a good sample size of both Texas and Ohio State early and see what those guys are talking about. But and then last one is team I can't wait to watch, and I got to go with my team, Alabama. That's my favorite team, so of course that's who I can't wait to watch. But there's a few other teams out there that I can't wait to watch. Miami is one of them. I want to see what they look like. I kind of want to see what Clemson looks like early on. LSU is another team I'm really interested in seeing what they do. And I'm kind of interested in Florida and Auburn as well. They got two new head coaches down there, so I kind of want to see what they look like. I think that they might surprise some people too with how they look. But all right, guys, yeah, so that's it for me today, man. Thanks for y'all listening. Once again, you guys make sure you follow me on social media, TikTok, Instagram, and all that stuff. But again, I always like talking college football, guys. And next episode, we'll probably talk a little bit more college football. But I know NFL is coming up as well. I got a fantasy football draft coming up as well. So we'll get into all of that stuff. So you guys continue to look out, and I'll catch you guys next time.